Hello and welcome to the Empowered by Claudia podcast, where we explore all things self-development. Here you'll discover practical tools, tips and strategies to help you feel more confident, empowered and in control of your life. I'm Claudia, I'm your host, I'm a registered nurse and mindset coach, fear of success instructor, and most importantly, your guide on your self-development journey. I know firsthand how confusing and overwhelming and isolating this path can feel. So I created this podcast so you never have to navigate it alone. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to another episode of the Empowered by Claudia podcast. I'm your host, Claudia, and today I am bringing it live and real. So obviously I'm a life coach, a mindset coach, and you may be forgiven for thinking that that means I have it all together. I assure you, I absolutely do not. I have the same emotions as you do. I have days where it is chaos, days when I'm feeling a little bit low, and obviously good days as well. But I believe that's why I'm able to support people so well, is because I get it. I'm not going to tell you that you need to be positive regardless of what's happening and what's going on. But I'm going to be open and honest with you and say, look, things are tough. Life is not always simple. Life comes with challenges. And, you know, I've been struggling the last month. Our kitten died. She's not really a kitten anymore, but she was 1.5 years, and it was a year after her brother died. And it's really hit me. And obviously the kids are upset as well. So trying to be strong for them, but also dealing with that grief is really hard. But anyway, so this morning I said to myself, I need to record next week's podcast and get it ready, because on Tuesday, when this podcast comes out, I'm actually running a live session called Mindset Made Simple. And I absolutely love delivering this session. I've delivered it face to face a number of times, and I'm now delivering it online. It's live on Eventbrite, and I'm really excited for that. But this morning, I was feeling a little bit, don't know how to describe it, but essentially I was really struggling. Probably blaming it on the hormones and just general stress, etc., etc. Now, before I started my self-development journey, I probably would have written the whole day off and come for air and just really wallowed in it. And there is a place for wallowing. There is a place, a time for that. But there is a time for, let's see if we can choose this differently. And so one of the first self-development books I read was actually called Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein. And in this, she describes this emotional guidance scale, and I've replicated it on the screen for those of you who are watching this podcast on YouTube. However, don't worry, if you are not watching, I will talk you through it. But essentially, this lists a series of emotions. And we might typically think of emotions as inherently positive or negative. We might think that anger or sadness are negative emotions, and happiness and joy are positive emotions. But in the book Super Attractor, that's not the take that Gabby Bernstein has, is that they're emotions. They each serve us in different ways. And deciding to be positive regardless of what that's happening is actually harmful to us. You know, we don't want to dismiss the things that we're going through, but we can take a pause and think, okay, so could I choose differently? Could I work through this in a different way? And an example of this might be that if you are feeling bored, you might not necessarily want to go full on into joy, but you could move to feeling optimistic. hopeful, even content. Um, the same with anger. It's not like you'll go from anger to joy. That it's just too much of a jump. But we can move up and down the scale in a way that is a bit more gentle than expecting us just to bounce back. So this morning I was feeling quite bloated, quite down, possibly depressed, but just generally just really, really feeling like it was a struggle. So to go from that feeling of feeling so down to expect myself to go into full on enthusiasm and show up in a manner that is helpful to you as a listener was not going to happen immediately. So I needed to ask myself in that moment, okay, so I'm feeling pretty grotty. What do I want to do? What does my body need? Now, past Claudia had booked myself onto the 11 o'clock Zumba class. 9 a.m. school run Claudia did not want to go to Zumba, but was too late to cancel. Otherwise, you get a strike, and if you get 3 strikes, you can't make any online bookings for classes, etc., etc. So I don't want strikes. I don't want a single strike. Never mind 3. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to go. So I came home after the school run and talking to a friend. And I could have thought, right, I've got loads of work to do. Let's force myself into it. But essentially, I'm never going to be able to produce the right type of work in that place. My head wasn't in it. And so I made myself a drink. I sat on the sofa and I watched a program that I like. And I didn't sit there thinking about all the work I had to do and making myself feel guilty for taking that time. No, I sat there and enjoyed it because I knew that my brain needed a distraction, that actually forcing myself through it, forcing myself to work wasn't going to be in my best interests and would probably make that mood last longer. Now, I know not everybody has that ability to flex their workday around that. But even if it is that you are just less harsh on yourself for any productivity or lack of, or if you can choose what you do, try and pick something that's a bit less brain heavy, something that needs doing that you can do without using 100% of your brain. Is there a way that you can do this in a way that will fit where you are at that moment? And I'm not going to lie, as it got closer to my gym class, I was thinking, oh, I really don't have the energy for this. But I got dressed. I put on a t-shirt that I haven't worn in a while. But it basically says progress, not perfection. And I couldn't have picked a better one. I literally was picking it because it matched my shorts. And I felt uncomfortable. I still felt bloated, but I was like, no, I'm going to feel better for going. So I got to the gym, met my friend Anna in the car park, and I was like, oh, not feeling it at all. And she was like, but you look fab. I'm like, come on, we can do this. And we went in and we had a great Zumba class, got the endorphins pumping, did some solos. In Zumba speak, a solo is where you go completely off track, you lose the moves, but it's not wrong because it's Zumba. So you're just doing a solo and you're loving it. I did a few of those. I was facing the exact opposite way to other people a few times. But it's fine because we all laugh about it. And I left the class and I felt so energized, felt like actually I could come back home, have some food, have a shower, and get on with work. And, here I am. And I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today. And then I thought, do you know what? There are people that need to hear that my life is not perfect, that we have these emotional fluctuations. We have days where we don't feel energized and enthusiastic. Because running your own business is hard. It's really hard. And there are times where you think, why am I doing this? But when I have those conversations with people, when I know that my work is helping people, that makes it all worthwhile. But it doesn't mean that there aren't challenges. So whatever emotion you may be going through, And I'll read these out for people who are not looking at the screen. But essentially, they range from joy, appreciation, empowerment, freedom, love, passion, enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness, positive expectations, beliefs, optimism, hopefulness, contentment, boredom, pessimism, frustration, irritation, impatience, feeling overwhelmed, disappointment, doubt, worry, blame, discouragement, anger, revenge, hatred, rage, jealousy, insecurity, guilt, worthiness, fear, grief, despair, desperation, and powerlessness. And just remember that you don't have to go from one extreme to another. You don't have to jump that immediately. You can choose to move to a slightly different one. So if you are feeling exhausted, maybe you're off sick from work, actually, the aim might not be to feel great. It might be that you've been feeling pretty down and in despair. Then actually, maybe you want to move to anger or disappointment. Or maybe it's even that you know that you will feel better, but actually you just need to be in this moment. You need to grieve. You need to feel the feelings. And feeling the feelings isn't a bad thing, and it's ugly and it's painful, but actually sometimes we need to just get it out. And it might help to write a letter, write things down. I love writing things by hand, particularly emotive things like that, because I feel like it physically gets out more so than typing on a keypad. But I am pretty old school. But really just writing those things down and then ripping it up, setting fire to it safely. Don't burn down your house. You can even put that piece of paper in a bag of water, put it in the freezer and freeze it into an ice cube and then smash it up. If that's going to make you feel better, get those feelings out. Because, and I haven't looked into the science behind this, but when you keep holding things in your mind doesn't want you to forget, so it keeps remembering it. It's like when you're going to bed and you think, I really must remember to take my packed lunch with me in the morning. You're not going to sleep well because your brain's like, but I've got this to remember. Whereas if you actually just turned over, wrote it down or set an alarm on your phone or whatever, you could then let it go because you know that you've taken action. And I think this is the same with getting those thoughts out. You don't have to keep bringing it up. You don't have to keep remembering because it's done. It's out. And don't be hard on yourself, that we don't need to be productive. I don't know how to say this, but as in you might see that, or you might even have this personal expectation that you're going to do X, Y, Z in a day and that's a productive day or whatever. But actually, if your body is telling you that all you have the energy for today is to get up, wash, put some clothes on, even if it's a fresh pair of pajamas, if that is it, if that is all the energy you've got for today, that is fine. You are listening to what your body needs. We don't have the same amount of energy every day. And I think we're really quick to judge ourselves and to think, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. And so is doing this, but we don't know the true picture. But also there might be like a medical reason why we don't have the energy. A friend of mine was beating herself up for not having the energy, and it turns out she's really anemic. And I was like, I'm also anemic. I was like, seriously, don't forget that. It's going to have an impact. That's going to make you have a bit more brain fog and make it harder to feel like you're on top of things. So give yourself that kindness and that self-compassion to not expect yourself just to be able to do and keep going regardless. Vitamin D. I know when my vitamin D levels are low, I have more pain, I have more fatigue. So there may be another explanation for why you're feeling this way. So actually, as an act of self-care, is it that go and see, well, do I need to take a multivitamin or something? Or, do I need to maybe the one thing I do today is actually go and buy an apple or something. Like, it doesn't need to be groundbreaking stuff, but if you take a minute, if you take a pause and really listen to what your body needs and not judge so harshly, and I think you'll find you feel a lot better, a lot faster. And the other thing that helps is to tell someone, to say to a friend, I'm not feeling that great. And actually, that can feel really scary if we're not used to having those conversations with people. Um, and sometimes when someone tells us that they're not feeling great, we want to rush to fix it. But that's not necessarily what they need. They might just need someone to listen, someone to understand, someone to say, I've got this, I'm with you. And actually, just saying the words, just going, actually, today, I feel a bit low, but I know I'll get better. And actually, today, I needed to do something restorative. And dancing around to my own moves and getting out in the sunshine, and it was forecast to rain, and I thought I was going to have to take my washing off the line, and I haven't had to because it's actually not raining yet. So all of those things, they're good things. And yeah, try not to be so harsh on yourself. Anyway, so that is the emotional guidance scale and a bit of the choose again method from Gabby Bernstein. And I found it really helpful. I first read it probably about 4 years ago, and it stuck with me because I've never ascribed to this false positivity where we just pretend that everything's okay. And I think a lot of us, we have to put this mask on that, we turn up at work and we've got to be okay. We have to have this customer facing role where, we are essentially a bit robotic and leave home stuff at the door to be professional. And that's fine to a certain extent, but we have to take the mask off at some point. So we can't just keep shutting away those things that happen. And so give yourself that time to really think about, am I okay? What do I really need? And I'm also of the feeling that there are times when you can dig into the whys and rehashing what's gone on and talking therapies and things like that. But there are other times where you just need to decompress, for your body to feel safe, for you to feel able to survive. And I think particularly when you are chronically stressed, when you've had a lot of trauma, we keep going. We don't really give ourselves that time to rest. And I know when I was pregnant with Evie, I basically had burnt out. And essentially I got up, got Harry to preschool, came home, sat on the sofa. Then next thing I knew, it would be time to go pick him up, make sure that he was safe and fed and bathed and bed, and would repeat the next day. Yes, I was on kind of sofa rest, is what I call it, because of my heart rate, but I couldn't tell you what I did in that day. I watched TV, but my brain couldn't process anything. I was completely overwhelmed. All I needed to do was get through the day. And that's what I needed. I needed that downtime because I've been so busy just powering through. And I needed to process on some level everything that had happened in the previous years with the abuse, COVID, with all of the challenges. And then I did start working with a therapist. But I initially had that period of time where I was like, actually, no, I just need to listen. And at the moment, my body and my mind need to rest. I am not in the place to do the work. I'm not in that place to move, to joy, to hope. That wasn't that place. I got there. And I think the biggest thing I want to share with you is to be gentle with yourself. Don't push yourself and beat yourself up for feeling rubbish. Don't tell yourself you shouldn't be feeling rubbish, other people got it worse, etc., etc. It doesn't matter what other people are going through. We've all got our challenges. It doesn't mean that anybody's challenges are less or worse than yours because you're experiencing them and your feelings are valid, even if other people would have a different response to it. They're in a different boat, in a different storm. Essentially, that's it for today. It is a shorter episode. It's longer than I thought it was going to be. But I wanted to make sure that I recorded something that I really hope is going to be beneficial to you. And I'd love it if you check out my workshops that are live on Eventbrite. There is a series, they're called Foundations for Wellbeing. And we talk about mindset, empowerment, self-care, mind-body connection, pain, health advocacy, a bit about how to sort what's reliable versus unreliable health information, and creating your own personalized wellbeing roadmap. Gone down really well in my in-person groups. So I would love to share them with you online. You don't have to attend live. There is a recording and a workbook. So anybody that purchases a spot will get that automatically sent to them. And there is a discount if you attend more than one session, which the code is series. And I will put all the details in the show notes, but I'd love it if you could come. And like I said, don't worry if you can't attend live. There is a recording that you can have. And yeah, I just know it's going to be great. So the first one is on Tuesday, which I think I might release this podcast on Monday. So it would be tomorrow. And anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week and I will talk to you next time. Take care. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Empowered by Claudia podcast. I'm Claudia from claudiasabinawellness.com. If you are ready to take your next step and transform your life, all the ways to connect with me, whether for coaching, courses, or any other sort of support are in the show notes or on my website at www.claudiasabinawellness.com. If you found value in this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review, share it with a friend, or post about it on social media. Don't forget to tag me at Claudia_Sabina_wellness. Your support helps more people discover the tools and guidance they need. I cannot wait to support you on your journey. Much love.